back, the government of India opened the doors of bureaucracy to the skilled people from the private sector who are willing to contribute to nation building. In today's Saturday Wisdom, let's analyze the pros and cons of such interventions. The proactive government that we have is innovative indeed to support the idea, but may need to exercise some caution too. Now the decision probably has put the bureaucracy on notice, ruffled a few feathers and allowed a few others to flock together, inviting applications for any senior level positions crucial to policy making and implementation. The government programs, the government seems to have opened a virtual Pandora's box, a domain available to only career bureaucrats till now, who usually join the service after passing exams conducted by the Union Public Service Commission, or UPSC as we know, is being opened to experts from the outside that domain. Will this move benefit the people and the government? Let's explore. The civil service must be independent of the government, with career bureaucrats hired on professional merit alone, rather than appointed or elected, whose institutional tenure typically survives transitions of political leadership. That said, can professionals from elsewhere not be trained for a government career? So let's see. Colin Powell once said, "Don't be buffaloed by the experts. Experts often possess more data than judgment. And the elite can become so inbred that they produce hemophiliacs who bleed to death as soon as they are nicked in by the real world." Is this move an administrative innovation to improve governance, or a disruptive political innovation to install pliable individuals? Only time will tell. However, we must also remember, again in Powell's words, that organizations don't really accomplish anything. Plans don't accomplish anything either. Theories of management don't matter much. Endeavors succeed or fail because of the people involved. Only by attracting the best people will you accomplish great deeds. And this will mean that established systems must be sufficiently disrupted and even uprooted for such a change. Now that the government is attempting to do something of that kind must be appreciated. Leaders bring fresh ideas and new approaches to governance if they are sufficiently fired in the belly. The bureaucracy is trained to implement the policies of the government of the day and not play politics of the government of the day. In that sense, they are expected to be impartial and conscientious of the work assigned to them and in the ways of implementation of such work. Their job is onerous, since they are also the custodians of the property of the state on behalf of the people. Governance is the process of interaction and decision making among the participants, both within and without the government, in a collective problem that leads to the creation, reinforcement, or reproduction of social norms and institutions. In simple terms, it is described as a political processes that exist between formal institutions. The spirit of governance is also the spirit of training that the aspiring civil servants undergo at various places in the country and maybe sometimes even abroad. The civil services system was considered one of the best British legacies to independent India. Given its lack of experience in governance then and the huge need for socio-economic development. But post-liberalization in the 1990s, the bureaucracy was seen to by some as stagnant. Further bureaucracies have been criticized as being inefficient, convoluted, or too inflexible to individuals and or as individuals. Now, though the legacy takes us to the British times, the civil service in the United Kingdom only includes the Crown, that is central government employees, not parliamentary process employees or local government employees. Now, public sector employees such as those in education and the national health care system are not considered to be civil servants. Police officers and staff are also not civil servants. With times changing, we need new models of governance and hence new thinkers within the bureaucracy. There could be better individuals in every profession outside their system. If they were to be brought into the system, ostensibly to improve, does it mean that the current systems were found wanting? The answer is not really binary. Hindsight would allow us to reflect and criticize the existing methodologies. Does it make the unknown any better? Can a change of a few ministers, more efficient and less affiliated, or change in portfolios allotted to them, not do the trick? These are at most other thoughts. We tend to seek help from the outside when our internal systems don't deliver. It is like searching for the right excuse for our failures. An example often cited is how our education systems have delivered or failed to deliver. A decision was taken some years back to appoint industrialists as heads of the governing bodies in many institutions like the IITs, the IIMs, and a host of others in top echelons to improve delivery and governance. Now, important stakeholders are the students, and they were to benefit. Audit is the cornerstone of the health of an organization, as any industrialist would vouch for. A pre-audit would have also recognized these institutions as being the best in the country when they took them over. Has even one audit been made to showcase the contribution and the growth that followed and on the induction of experts from outside? How many endowments collected? What was the revenue generated? What was the research conducted? How many ranks did the institution improve upon? And what was the outreach reached? Are these not parameters of excellence? And has any audit reflected on these? How many of these can directly be attributed to the new, experts at the top? The academicians, however, would have anyway brooked no nonsense from these industrialists had they interfered in that part of the delivery system. Then what was the value addition that happened? Yes, we need experts in niche areas that normally are outside the purview of the civil servant who is trained in administration. They add value to the cause in such ways that justify their inclusion. The lateral entry to experts in governance is justified if such is the case. The flip side would be more damaging if such experts also join the race and the game, not to speak of being instrumental in creating new classes within classes. A complete chaos would rule if such experts were to be singled out by succeeding governments either for propagating an earlier truth or refusing to align with the new truth? Can political exigencies dictate either transparency or accountability or deliverance of governance? A lot of effort is being made by the individuals in completing the service commission tests at the central level or the state level. The state too spends a considerable amount of time in installing, or instilling precisely the administrative acumen that it wants in these individuals in a host of training institutions, both in the country and abroad. Why not make them accountable if they fail to deliver? Will the precedents allow us to do something similar in our police service? Will we be in a position to change the police commissioner, for example, by an expert from the free society if he fails to deliver? Can we afford to do the same for revenue or banking or a foreign service that we have? You don't know what you can get away with until you try, is the adage that helps innovation. Do governments really want such innovation? Then what they need are mavericks with ideas. And ideation is a process of forming and relating ideas, oftentimes in a business context. Change management for a government must explore all approaches to prepare and support individuals, teams, and or organizations in making the organizational change. And the most common change drivers must include technological evolution process, reviews, crisis, citizen habit changes, and so on. Only then induction of experts from outside would help the cause and the means. Friends, this is a sensitive subject to discuss or pass judgments. I am not ventured to do either. I have only tried to look at both perspectives in the right perspective. I hope you too have a better understanding of the issues raised. I remain now with a promise to return the next Saturday. Until then, namaskar, thank you, and dhanyawad.